I'm Shelley Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, we're going to learn how to use the accordion feature inside of Cheetah. So I'm inside of Cheetah and I'm going to go ahead and add the accordion feature. It's the element, so I'm going to go to Add, Elements, and then Accordion. And we've got several pre-configured accordion items that you can add in. I just want you to remember that you can grab any of these and you can change them to what colors and design that you want them to be. So it really doesn't matter. Just pick the closest one to what you want to work with, and then you can start editing and changing. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick this first one and pull it over. And now I've got the accordion on here, and there's a couple things that I want you to remember. The accordion is actually a couple of boxes together. It's an internal box and then an external box. In order to move the accordion to where you want it, you need to be clicking on the outside box and then dragging around. If you click on the inside box, you can't click and drag it. So it has to be on that outside box that you click to be able to drag it and put it where you want it to be. Now, if I click on that outside box, you'll see that it is the accordion group on this right-hand sidebar. That allows me to change the settings on the whole accordion group. So let's take a look at those settings. First of all, we've got the mini toolbar, and the mini toolbar allows us to, first of all, save the element as a personal element so we can reuse it anytime on this website or on any website on our account. Then we've got the little edit element icon that allows us to go into the settings. We can also choose to center this element either on the page that it's on or in the box that it's in. I can also choose the plus sign to add another accordion item to this box so it can have multiple boxes inside of it. I can duplicate this element, I can hide this element, or I can delete this element. So let's take a look first at this plus, because I want you to see how this works. If I click the plus sign, that actually adds an accordion item to the element. So now I have two accordion items that will expand if I click on them. So I'm going to go ahead and click the first one, and you see it expands to show me the content area below it. And then if I click it again, it will collapse it. And then the second item, if I click it, it expands that item. And if I click it again, it will collapse it. So that's how I can add additional accordion items to this particular element. Now I'm going to continue with the outside box to click it to go to the accordion group. And we're going to take a look at the settings on the right hand side. So for the accordion group, I have some general settings, including adding padding to that particular element. Sometimes that outside box is very difficult to click to be able to drag it where you want to drag it. You can increase the padding on the left and right hand side by going ahead and clicking these little up buttons and increasing that padding amount. What that's going to do is it's going to increase the space on the left and right hand side between the outside box and the inside box. So you can very easily now click and drag that area and drag it around. So if you want to be able to grab it and move it easier, you can actually just increase the padding. The next area is the maximum width on the tablet version. So this is the number of pixels wide you want this to be when it appears on tablet. The next one is background. So you can actually change the background color of the entire accordion group. And you can change it to a solid color, a gradient color, or you can even add an image as the background. So just to kind of see how that works, I'm just going to change the color, and you can see it's adding the color red to the accordion group, so it's behind all of the accordion items. You can also change the border. So you can add a border to your accordion group and even change the color of that border to be a little bit different. So if we change the size, the color, and then the style of the border, if I click outside of that, you can now see that my accordion group has a border around it. Keeping with the accordion group, I can choose rounded borders. So I can change the corners into rounded corners. And so now you can see that I've rounded the edges of that particular box, that outside box. It no longer has sharp corners. I can also create a shadow for the entire accordion group by just clicking and dragging to create a shadow here. And we'll blur it a little bit. And then I'm going to change the color to like a gray color. So there we go. So that creates a little bit of a shadow to that accordion group, so it kind of pops out of the page just a little bit. I'm going to click back on the accordion group and scroll down, and now we have the ability to do some advanced configuration, including working with layers and saving this item as a personal element. So those are all the things that you can do with the accordion group. Now we're going to talk about the actual accordion items inside the accordion group. So if I click on an item, that's going to expand the item, but it's also going to open up the accordion settings. So now I'm working with the specific accordion settings that are the inside box settings. So I can change the size, so I can change the height of it right here, and I can change the container height as well. So I can change the height of the accordion item or the container that is underneath the accordion item. I can change the maximum width to show up on tablet. I can change the background of the accordion. So here I can change the header color. So if I click this, I can change it as a solid color or a gradient color. So let's go ahead and change that color to a green. There we go. So that changes the header color. And then the next area is the container color. So this white area right here, I can change that color to a solid color or a gradient color. So we'll change that one to, let's say, a yellow. There we go. So now you can see how we can start really manipulating the colors of this accordion feature. The next item is the border. So I can have a border on the item. So I'm going to click to add a border, and then we'll change the style of the border to solid. So I now have a border around my accordion item. I can also do rounded borders on my accordion item. So if I add in a rounded area, you can see that my accordion item now has rounded corners on it. On the container border, I can actually add a border around the container. So let's go ahead and add a border, just like that. And I can also change the corners of the content area. So I can add that. And now you can see that I not only have rounded corners on the accordion item, but rounded corners on the content below the accordion. The next one is the headline. So I can choose to change the headline. Right now it says title of accordion, but I can change that. And then I can choose the font family. I can also increase the size of the font, the color of the font, and then I can also bold, italicize, and even justify. And then I can add some text decoration. So I can do an overline, a line through the text, or do an underline. And I can also add an icon to this particular text on the accordion item. So if I click icon list, I can choose to add an icon here, and then click select, and you can see that it added that icon onto my accordion item. Also, for the accordion, I can choose to have that accordion show on the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the text. I happen to like the left-hand side better. And so now I've configured that accordion item. If I click the second one, I can now configure the second accordion the exact same way I did the first. So I can take all those settings and put them into this accordion item as well. I can also delete this accordion item if I don't want it. So if I click delete, I can actually delete that item. And then here, I can click on this accordion item, and if I get the settings exactly the way I want it, all I have to do is click duplicate, and it actually takes those settings and applies them to the next item. And then from here, all I really need to do is change the content and the text on the accordion item. So that's how you can create the settings first and then add more accordion items after you configure the settings. When you're ready to add content into the content area, all you need to do is go to Add and Elements, and now you can choose any one of these elements to add into the content area of your accordion. So you can choose text, so I can click and drag text on there and drop it onto the accordion item. And when I open that accordion, you'll see that the text is actually there. I can also go to Add, Elements, and choose an image. So I'll go down to the image area and click and drag an image onto that item. And if I click it to open again, I can see that my image is there and I can resize it to fit into that accordion area. I can also choose to add video or any other element that I want to add into the content area. And remember, I've added all this to the second accordion. If I collapse that and open the first accordion, there's actually nothing in there yet. So I can actually make different content areas for each of the different accordion items that I have in my accordion group. Also remember that inside the editor, I need to make the panel that I'm working with really tall so that I can work with the accordion, because it will not expand the panel area inside of the editor. And what I mean by that is if I click and drag that panel area to make it as small as the accordion, but then I go and click the accordion item, it's going to go past the panel, which makes it really hard to work with when you're trying to build the accordion and edit. So what you can do is just in the editor, expand it to being very tall, and then you can work on the accordion. And when you get the accordion done, then go in and collapse that panel to the bottom of your accordion area, and then click Save. Now on the live website, when that accordion is used and they click to expand the accordion, it will actually push down the bottom of the panel, but it won't do that in the editor. So that's how you work with the accordion item inside of Cheetah in Builderall.